Well. Happy New Year. Welcome back to Let's Vibe Podcast, you guys. I do this every time. I was not expecting to take such a hiatus, such a break from the podcast. However, life has been happening. My Saturn has been returning, and end of 2024 was a lot. The beginning of this year has been a lot. There's been a lot that's happened. We're going to do a whole life vibe check episode to come after this episode. I didn't want to take away from the focus of today's episode, which is talking to you guys about my Groove Cruise 2024 experience. Had the most amazing time, and it has been almost a month since Groove Cruise happened. And like I said, we came back from Groove Cruise, we recovered, and then some stuff happened in my life, which we will talk about another time. I promise you guys, there's going to be a whole story time. I can't talk about it right now because things are in progress and in process. And so once I can talk about it, you guys will not believe my luck and what's been happening in my life. But for now, we're going to talk about Groove Cruise 2024. So this is going to be my review and recap of this festival because it was honestly one of the best weekends of my life. It topped my previous festival cruise experience, I feel like. And so we're going to break it all down. I have not done a review in a long time, like a festival review. So I kind of re-standardize what my festival reviews look like. So as I'm going to festivals this year, because I am going to newer festivals that I haven't been to yet, I have more of an outline and guidelines as to what I want to talk about, what I want to cover when it comes to reviewing and recapping these festivals. So I'm going to break it all down for you. We're going to dive in. We're going to go all over my Groove Cruise experience, because it was honestly a full circle moment, and it was so much fun and just really had the best time. And it was such a great way to kick off 2024, despite some of the things that have happened in my life since then. But we're going to go over all the things. I do have a written review that is on my website, vibewith8.com. We are starting to post there again. So that's kind of the flow that you'll see for today's review and going through all of the things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into my Groove Cruise 2024 experience. And I wanted to kick this off by giving some background, some context that I had been to Holy Ship 2019. This was the last Holy Ship before it turned into Shipwrecked. So Holy Shipwrecked. And that festival was technically still owned by Hard Events, but Insomniac had also taken over. So this was before Destructo went and created the Friendship. I had a great time that weekend, and I am including all of this to give you context for how that's going to affect my review with Groove Cruise, because I do have a little bit of a comparison to go on. So I had been to Holy Ship 2019. That was one less day than what this was, which we had 3 full days. We had getting on the boat, which you can count as a half day, 3 full days, which included an island party, and then getting off the boat on Sunday. I had also been on a regular cruise last year, which I have on my YouTube channel. My ex and I, we went on a regular vacation cruise. I vlogged that experience. That was on a Royal Caribbean cruise line. Holy Ship was on Norwegian, and Groove Cruise was the Norwegian Encore. So originally, I did not have Groove Cruise planned in my 2024 plans. It was something I had thought about because my good old friend Emma Capotis, she had a whole room block thing planned. She was going to be doing this whole rave culture cast takeover, which is her podcast and community. And I had thought about it. I was like, ooh, that could be really fun, but was currently in progress with things. And then lo and behold, Groove Cruise did reach out to me. So I did have a partnership with Groove Cruise. My room was comped as a part of, doing content for the festival, as well as hosting 2 workshops at the festival. So I had 2 activities with Groove Cruise, which was a really exciting opportunity. So I wanted to just preface this that I went as a guest basically and was doing content creation and hosting activities aboard. So that doesn't really change my perspective in terms of the experience. I'm still going to give you my honest review. However, that is why you guys saw all of this content being cranked out, because I was there to create content and share the experience. But even so, I had the best time that like I literally want to tell everyone about it. And Groove Cruise 2025, by the way, you guys, is 91% sold out. So if you really like today's episode, if you go to my YouTube channel, you watch the vlogs and you really like those vlogs, like get your group together, get on it and book your rooms ASAP. Because honestly, it was the best time ever, and I will be saying it from the heavens, you know? And honestly, a lot of my feedback isn't even about the festival itself. It just happens to be like the cruise line that they picked. Like that's really the only feedback I have, which I can definitely get more into. So that's kind of like the background of why I chose to go on Groove Cruise. Going into this festival, I had an idea of, you know, things I'd heard from people. I had friends that had been going for, you know, a couple of years. I had friends that went when they did the Cabo one, which was on the West Coast. So I'd heard some things about Groove Cruise. I just like never really had a chance to go. I think the timing didn't really work out. So lo and behold, this opportunity fell on my lap. I had a lot of friends already going. I had some content creator friends going. And I was like, you know what? Like, why not go? And I worked with the Groove Cruise team to plan out, you know, the different activities, like my intention setting workshop and the vision board workshop. And all of that really fell into place, as well as like a content plan and all of that. So I just was like really excited and booked it in October. So I wasn't able to like pre-book a lot of the things like activities or excursions with like the artists and stuff, which was totally fine. But I kind of was just coming in of like, all right, like we're doing this, going to Groove Cruise with like less than 4 months to plan. You know what I mean? So Groove Cruise was January 24th through the 28th, I want to say. So like I said, we had the Wednesday getting onto the boat, and then by Sunday we were getting off the boat. So we had flown into Miami the night before, spent like an evening in Brickell area, and then the next day we got onto the boat around like, I think our check-in time was like 11:30, 12. So I was on the boat by like 1:30, I want to say. And then that began like our whole weekend, which was really great. So that really began the experience. And the really special thing about this Groove Cruise experience specifically is that it was the 20th anniversary. And as I was on my flight over from Austin to Miami, like we definitely could see, you know, Groove Cruisers on the plane that really ranged from a variety of ages. And I think it really just speaks to the fact that the community that they have created over the past 20 years, that's led by Jason. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Bukema, maybe? Bukema, maybe. He's really cultivated such a die-hard community of Groove Cruisers that want to keep coming back every year. Or even we met some people that literally just came back for the 20th anniversary. Maybe they went like earlier to the earlier Groove Cruises and they came back just for the 20th anniversary. So I was really excited because we were really stepping into this well-rounded community that was just so excited to be a part of Groove Cruise, and it was a really special celebration. And I'll talk a little bit more about that experience. But that's what we were really coming into with this 20th anniversary. And the moment you got to the port, you could just like feel it. So diving into this review a little bit more, the first thing I want to talk about is the venue. And I mean, you are literally living on a cruise ship for that amount of time. It was the Norwegian Encore. Getting onto the boat was actually pretty easy, I would say. It took maybe about an hour, which was like waiting in line, going through security, then checking yourself in, and then boom, you were on the boat. So it was really like well run and efficient getting onto the boat. I felt pretty prepared. I felt like getting onto the boat. I feel like the first time I did the festival cruise, I was so stressed and nervous and all of that. But like, it was really easy from the moment we got out of the Uber, we checked in our suitcases, then got into line, then got through security, which was just like a quick bag check, and then checked in, and boom, like that was it. So I felt like that process was really seamless and really easy to get to. And then you just had to navigate to go find your room. Our rooms weren't quite ready yet, so we had to go like check into one of the desks to let them know like, hey, we're on board. And then, you know, a lot of people were just kind of getting their bearings and, you know, setting up their drink packages, like stuff like that. And then for our room, we had an inside stateroom, which I feel like for 2 people is a good size. I know some people had 4 people in those rooms, which like, I don't know if I could have done. But we had 2 people in it in the inside stateroom. And I personally love inside staterooms for a festival like this, just because it gets so dark in the room. I believe with the balcony rooms, you do have like some curtains that can help, but it gets so dark in the room. And we were on deck 11, so we had pretty much no noise coming through. It was really quiet. Like I could probably put in a video of it being really quiet. Like you really did not hear anything. They even played music in the hallway, which just like added to like the vibe, but the sound didn't even come through there. So yeah, I felt like our inside stateroom, we had like a twin bed and a twin bed, and then a plenty of storage, and the bathroom was really spacious. So I was really pleased, honestly, with the layout. I felt like I had more space compared to even the Royal Caribbean cruise I went on last year, it felt like. And yeah, I felt like there was no really big issues with the room. There was even buttons for like do not disturb, or you could hit a button for like the custodian, janitorial, whatever you want to call them, to come through and like clean your room and like do your beds, replace your towels, stuff like that, which I really appreciated. And you always had the same person, cleaning your room. So you kind of like formed a relationship with them. And even too, when you walk into your room, like they had, like Groove Cruise, like already memorabilia and stuff. Like I didn't even get any merch because I was like so happy with the water bottle we got. And we had this like whiteboard that we could put on our door and put our names on it. And then we also got like a luggage tag thing, which was really cute. And so a lot of people do decorate their doors, which is like a whole part of the whole experience. So I just added like a little disco ball for funsies. Maybe next year I'll do like a more decorative door. But all in all, I was really satisfied with the room. I felt like, it was a perfect place to always come back to, take a little nap and relax. I'm going to be honest, I did not sleep the best on the ship. I was just too excited. Also, my workshops were pretty early, so if I wanted to see a late night set, I had like maybe 3 or 4 hours to sleep. Then I had my workshops. So sleep was not the best, and I'll kind of get into that in my lessons learned section. Overall, this cruise ship really becomes your playground for the weekend. Between all of the different stages that they convert these little like spaces into stages, which is great. And of course, they have the main pool deck stage that they convert into like a festival main stage on this gigantic pool deck. And they did a really great job, I feel like, of transforming these spaces into music stages, and they had really solid speaker systems. They had, different decorations for each day. So in the atrium, which was inside, it was on deck 6. They even converted that every single day. Like it still stayed the same with the Groove Cruise stage, but then they had different decorations based on like the nighttime theme. So like on the Decades Day, there was like lava lamps. On the Nintendo night, there was like the guys that come up and bite you. That's in the Mario game. I don't know what the name is. Like it's Venus Flytrap or whatever. So they really did a good job, and everything was so, I feel like, intentional about how they really transformed this cruise ship into a music festival, which I just really appreciated. That's something I didn't notice back when I did Holy Ship. I just felt like that just added a really personal touch, and even, the little spaces that they converted into stages, I really liked. There was no issue of sound bleed ever, and like I said, there was no issue of having the sound in the rooms. That could depend on the room that you book. So even next year for 2025, I think we booked in a solid place where we're not going to really hear any of the music, hopefully. So all in all, like it's just really impressive to come onto this cruise ship and see it transformed, and it becomes your playground for the weekend where you can eat, sleep, relax, hang out. Even like there's laser tag, there was go-karts, like there was so many different activities on top of like the sets and activities that they already had planned. And they had a lot of activities that you could do with artists. So overall, like the ship was a really amazing home for the weekend, and you kind of just get zoned into the world of Groove Cruise with all the Groove Cruisers, and you guys are all experiencing this beautiful experience together. And it just became like really special. And, on the last day you get kind of sad because you like just don't want to go home. You know what I mean? So overall, like the venue, I would say 10 out of 10, amazing. My only feedback probably that I'll have in this entire thing was the staff. I do think some of the cruise staff, depending on who you talk to and depending where you were, I could tell that maybe some of them weren't as enthused to have like a bunch of ravers and festival goers. You know, this might be their one thing on this calendar where they're like, oh, we have these people coming through. So I would say like to some degree there could have been maybe a little bit more niceness from the crew, but that was only a few interactions where like maybe at the bar they were just kind of like annoyed, you know, maybe dealing with drunk people or like whatever. But other than that, like, you know, the people that did our you know, made our bed and towels, like he was super nice. We said hi to him every morning, and anytime we saw him he was super nice to us. And like there was other people. I'm just saying like it's the one-off thing, but like that's not really on Groove Cruise's fault. That's like Norwegian, right? Because that's the cruise line. And they might have some like preconception going into a weekend like that with the type of client that they're going to be serving. And then maybe they deal with like some one-off people. So that's also on us as a community to be nice to the cruise line employees, because they're here to like, you know, serve us and make sure that we have a good time and help our experience too. So like it goes both ways, you know what I mean? That's really the only feedback I feel like I really have when it comes to the venue. Like everything was so clean, like our rooms were clean, all the spaces were clean. Like I said, I really liked the different stages and production. There were about 10 stages on this ship. Yeah, 10 stages, you guys. So like a lot to explore there, and I didn't even realize it was 10 stages. I do think I saw one set at every single stage. There was definitely a couple stages I kept going back to, but yeah, we had like the main pool deck outside. We had the theater stage. We had the atrium stage. There was a stage in the smokehouse. There was a stage in the social club. And I'm already forgetting the rest, honestly, but there was so many stages. We even had like an Oasis area. You could even get a tattoo in this place. Like they set up a tattoo parlor in the observation area, which was really cool. So yeah, there was just like lots to explore, and I really feel like they took advantage of all of the space available to them to have some type of activity, stage, experience, things like that, which I really appreciated. And it makes me really excited for 2025 because it's going to be on Allure of the Seas, which is Royal Caribbean. It's going to be one of the largest ships, I think. So this is about to be one of the largest cruise festivals like ever. Like we're going to be making history with that. And I'm really interested to see what they really do with that space, because I went on a very similar cruise line last year that was Royal Caribbean. So that I think kind of covers a little bit of the venue, where we were staying, the stages, production, all of that. Like I said, I thought it was all very well done. Now, another part to the venue, because we were on a cruise ship, is the food. The food options were great. You had the main like buffet area where you could was 24 hours, like literally any type of food you wanted, you could probably get from there. I honestly ate like a 5-year-old, I feel like, because I was eating mac and cheese and chicken tenders the whole time. I just wanted stuff that was easy, honestly. But they even had like Indian food, Asian food, burgers, pizza, breakfast when it was breakfast. They also had like ice cream cone machine, like literally anything you wanted. So it was all inclusive with the food. They had like other places you could eat that were all included. Like there was a diner that you could eat at. There was like another little like local craft kind of place that had like chicken wings and like some other food. So there was stuff like that. And then they did have some restaurants that you could pay for. We personally did teppanyaki / hibachi. It was $75 a person, and honestly was one of the most filling meals and some of the best hibachi I think I've ever had. It was so good and so worth it. I think it's nice if you could like splurge on on one of the meals, you know, and then just do like the all-inclusive meals for like the other meals. If you wanted Starbucks, you had to pay for Starbucks. And then obviously there is a drink package. I want to say the drink package was maybe $120 a person. I would have to go back and ask my friends. Some people did the drink package. I didn't do the drink package because I have broken my drinking thing, which will be like a podcast topic for another thing, but I was just taking little sips here and there of drinks, but I felt like I didn't need the drink package, to be honest. So I didn't get it to begin with. Even when I did Holy Ship, I didn't do the drink package and I just paid for like one-off drinks and I didn't even spend the same amount as the drink package. Because like to make the drink package worth it, like you got to be a drinker, you know what I mean? So yeah, otherwise like the food was included, you can get water, like stuff like that. And then if you wanted anything else like soda, drinks, like Starbucks, like that was all kind of like a separate price. And so that would be like something with the drink package that you could have and you can add on. That's something you could add on beforehand before you get onto the ship. And then you can even add, if you want to like add on a drink package to like a single day, you could also do it that way. I could have gotten that pricing wrong because $120 for the whole weekend just sounds a little too low. It might be more than that. It could have been $120 for the day, but even then it depends on the cruise line. So even if you're looking at, Groove Cruise or you're looking at another festival, depending on the cruise line, the beverage package can, vary. So don't even take me by that number, to be honest. Same thing on the pricing for the rooms. I'm going to be honest. I do not have that info because I had my room comped, which was amazing, but you could look anywhere, 2 people, you could be spending $1,000 plus per person. Depending on if you have an inside stateroom, balcony room, whatever it may be. If you just look on the websites, it has the rooms broken down and has the pricing there, and then you can kind of like do your math between how many people are in that room. I definitely will dive more into those kinds of tips and things as I prepare for 2025, and even like, I'll be doing like an ultimate guide to Groove Cruise and stuff like that, where I can have better visibility into the pricing, but I just don't have that for this year because I was invited as a creator and workshop host. So I'll just put that out there, but we can talk a little bit about like finances and stuff like that and all of that in case you're planning for 2025 or want to go in the future. We can talk about that a little bit more. But overall, food, 10 out of 10. I did not have a bad meal. I was never hungry. You could also order room service like 24/7 too. So if you just wanted to like have food delivered to your room, that's also really nice and very clutch. Okay, so now let's get into the music. So literally 24 hours of music, you guys. The music never stopped, which means my FOMO never stopped. And you can see why I barely slept. The music was amazing, 10 stages, right? There wasn't music going all the time on those 10 stages, but at least on the main pool deck, there was 24-hour music just constantly going. So even if you wanted to go to bed early, wake up, catch a sunrise set, and then stay up for that sunrise marathon that they had, you could do that. The variety of music I would say was pretty solid. I know some feedback from maybe more of the bass heads was to have maybe some more heavier dubstep. We had more of like the melodic dubstep people, you know what I mean? But there was trance, there was techno, there was house music, lots of house music. I was kind of house music'd out by the end of it. Like there was a John Summit back-to-back Max Styler, back-to-back Ranger Trucko after set, and I kind of tapped out towards the end because I was like, this is all kind of like starting to sound the same because I'd seen a lot of house music. But I could go on and on about, some of all the sets I saw, but I wanted to talk about some of my highlights. So the first one is going to be Max Styler. He had one of the best sets of the weekend. Like, I'm still thinking about it. And I dragged everyone. Emma was already down, but I dragged the rest of the group. I'm like, we're going to Max Styler, everyone. I had seen him in Arizona at Sunbar February of last year of 2023. And he just absolutely killed this set. It was kind of like a headliner set because it was like 2 a.m. maybe, and it was out on the main pool deck. And he just absolutely killed it. Like, such a good set. He had the dark, sexy house vibe. So if you have Max Styler on your festival list, like one of your festival lineups this year, definitely make it a point to go because it was just a great time. We all had a good time and we all just were like feeling it and in it. I also made a friend before this set. And I like I convinced him and his whole friend group to come with us. I like bonded with him because I gave him one of my like finger puppets, and we like were vibing at Speaker Honey. And then I was like, do you guys want to come with us to Max Styler? And they were like, oh my God, who's Max Styler? And I'm like, oh, just come with us. And they even had a great time, which is like my favorite thing to do, is to like drag people to a set and then they thank me for it. So that was definitely a great set. A set that was a surprise that wasn't like scheduled. Kyle Walker was scheduled for the Atrium, and it ended up being Kyle Walker, back-to-back Deeper Purpose, back-to-back Max Styler, back-to-back Ranger Trucko. So a massive B4B. And it was just so much fun seeing some of my favorite tech house artists just like all vibe together. Like, it was just such a great time. Didn't know what was coming next. And this was night 2, I want to say, or the first night. No, it was the second night. First night, we went to bed a little early. Second night. This was the second night. And this was when you could feel like people were really like settling in, getting comfortable. And we all just were like ready to have a good night and have a good time. And I think because that set was a surprise, we all just were like having the best time ever. Gabriel in Dresden was a big surprise. I wasn't originally going to go to this set, but then other people in the group were at this set. I didn't realize I would like enjoy it. It was very trance, but also progressive house, like more of that deep melodic house too. That was a really good set. This was in the theater stage, which was really great. They had like laser production and everything in there. The theater stage was also great because you could sit down, and man, was that so nice. Whenever I needed to take a little break, I could just sit back, put my feet up, just relax. Like, that was really fun. And then even the next day, there was like a melodic bass takeover. So I was in the theater stage for like 4 or 5 hours. And that was nice to be able to like take breaks and stuff during that time. Another favorite was Disco Lines on the island. So there was an island party. There was a day where we did dock off. And that was like, we take like a little boat down to, we go down on the cruise ship down to this like little boat. The boat had maybe like, someone told me this number on in my comments, maybe had like 300, 400 people maybe on this little boat. And then that took us to the island. Next year for the island day, we'll be able to like walk off the boat, which I think will be really nice. And I think that'll be a lot easier than having to wait for a boat to like take you back and forth or whatever. But Disco Lines, he opened for Tiesto on the island, and I think he just absolutely killed it. I feel like Disco Lines does a really good job at playing to the environment he's in, playing to the crowd that he's playing to. So I really enjoyed that set. That was like my second time seeing him, and I really loved that set. John Summit. I really did enjoy John Summit's set. I've seen him so many times. I've listened to so many of his sets, so many of his mixes, but he had a 2-hour set for Groove Cruise, and it was like the main headliner, like final ending to the weekend. And he did a really good job at curating that set list. Like, I didn't really know what was coming next. Like, there was a time where John Summit sets got a little bit predictable, but I feel like he's really finding his sound, his groove a little bit more, and like how he wants to do a set. And I do feel like he's doing a good job playing again to the environment and who he's playing to. So overall, like, it was just a really good set. It was a really good time. And like, that was the final, one of the final sets where like, you know, all of our groups were together. Like, I had, you know, my festival group that I was with, but then I also had like content creator friends that I was with, and then also like new friends. So like, I don't know, it was just really cute to all be together for like that final set. Like, everyone was there. Like, you would look at the crowd too, and everyone was just like, it was just a really special moment. And I'll talk more about like the community and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a really special thing. Some other honorable mentions, Speaker Honey was definitely a favorite. I got to see a little bit of her set. We got to see my friend Kess play, which was cool. I got to see like a melodic kind of techno-y set from him. So it was really cool to support him. I finally saw a Gem and Tori set, which was awesome. Saw a little bit of Miha and Gigi McGree and their project So Tough, So Cute. That was like the best 15 minutes ever. Honestly, we just popped in after our hibachi dinner and had the best time. And then who else was there? Tiesto. We had the best time at Tiesto, you guys. We got a little bit too crazy, but it was just the best thing. Like, my friend Jess just kept on whipping out these like just funny things. Like she started handing out these inflatable swords. We're like, where did you get these? And then like a couple minutes into Tiesto, she whips out these like eye patches. And we were like, what is going on? And even too, like my friends Barry and Alyssa started twerking the moment that like Tiesto dropped some drum and bass. And it's like, you just had to be there. But like, it was just so funny and such a moment, to be honest. I'm trying to think if there's any other memorable sets. Those were like the honorable mentions that were really coming to mind. But honestly, like we even walked in on a deep house brunch where it was like someone was playing like a live saxophone. Oh, LPGOB. She had a set before John's Summit set on the last night, and it was a very vibey, like deep house, like almost like a black coffee kind music kind of vibe, and I really enjoyed that. So that was like a little bit of the music, but honestly, you can't go wrong when there's just so much music happening. And the cool thing, obviously, about being on a festival experience like this is like you will run into your favorite artists all the time. I ran into Disco Lines a lot. I ran into Deeper Purpose a lot. I ran into Miha and Gigi McGree a lot. Like I kept running into them. I didn't say hi. I don't know. I'm awkward and weird about that kind of stuff. I'm like, we're on a cruise ship. Like I'm going to let them be. Cause I also was running into them like the morning after, you know, when we're all kind of like still waking up, or I'm running into them like while they're getting food, you know? So it was just like time and place, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was definitely cool just getting to see artists in the crowd. We also hung out with Joel Corey. Like he was behind us, I think, during Max Styler, I want to say. And then we ended up going and seeing his techno set. That was another set that was really good. Joel Corey's techno set was a good time. So there's like little fun things like that. There was multiple sets by multiple artists. So if you didn't get to see them the first time, you definitely got to see them another time or a second time. So that was always really nice. And my time blocking schedule, I did a whole video about this, definitely worked out really well on my Groove Cruise schedule. So I will be doing that next Groove Cruise where I have a whole Google Calendar. Maybe I'll share it with some people too in case you want it. But yeah, that definitely worked out for the better, I would say. Overall vibes. We're moving on to the vibe. So I would say the moment I got to the port, I could already feel the energy. I was like, oh, buckle up, because people were already on one. There was music blasting. People were already in their outfits. Like people were ready to go and have a good time. And I will tell you, I was not once annoyed by this crowd. I didn't have any feeling of like, oh, what's going, like no bad vibes, had no bad interactions. Anytime I was in an elevator, someone was like cracking a joke, having a good time, taking a photo. There was like Twister going on in the elevators. Like literally everyone was just in the best mood. And like I said, I think this just speaks to the community that, you know, Jason has created for Groove Cruise. It just speaks volumes. And I met people who had been 17 times, 10 times, like people who just came back just for the 20th anniversary. And I think that speaks to such like a testament as to how amazing this festival is and how amazing this community is. One thing I want to be better about is I didn't hang out in the Facebook group a lot. So I kind of went in blind a little bit. I also didn't really look at any tip videos. So again, I kind of went in blind and kind of just went on a fly with it. I've had so much festival experience, you know what I mean? But there's definitely ways I could have probably gotten more involved or gotten more in tune with the way that the community is and Groove Cruisers and all of that. But I kind of went in blind, but like, honestly, I was fine the whole weekend and we met so many amazing people. And there's definitely some people that I've stayed in touch with. But everyone was just like so nice and having a good time. And one of the cool things was definitely the themes. So there was 8 themes, 4 daytime themes, 4 nighttime themes. And let me just say that really added to the whole thing. And almost everyone dressed up. And I think it was just such a fun thing for people to participate in. Like Nintendo night got crazy. Like there was so much that didn't make the vlog, but like there was so many just funny costumes and people dressed up and people went all out, and like it kind of added to like the feralness and like the bender, you know what I mean? That like we're all just hanging out. I'm dressed as Kirby. Someone's dressed as like a Pokemon. You see like Mario and Luigi, and then another Mario and Luigi, and everyone's just like having a good time. So if you do go to any festival cruise ship, especially Groove Cruise, like definitely have some fun with the themes. I'm really proud of myself because I was able to pull together all my theme outfits without having to like spend a ton of money. So that was a nice little challenge. The only thing I bought was like the Kirby beanie and then some different bottoms for an outfit. So I feel like I did a pretty good job and I was able to match all of the themes. So that was a win in my book. But I think even next year, maybe doing some more group costume things where we can all plan an outfit together, I think would be really fun. But overall, just like, yeah, the vibes on point. And another part to the vibes and like this experience is the activities, because there is a full calendar of activities to participate in. I'll talk about my 2 activities that I hosted. Okay, so I had my intention setting workshop. This was my second time doing it in person. And we had it in the observation lounge, and this was Thursday morning. So this was the first full day at sea morning. It went so great, and I honestly feel like I'm really getting comfortable hosting these workshops. You know, I've done virtual events for so long that having people in person can just like really be special. So it was really awesome. And Groove Cruise, you know, had me set up with like some paper for people, markers for people, for them to like write down their intentions. I also handed out little affirmation cards for people to get. So that was about 30 minutes and I took them through my intention setting practice. And then if people wanted to share, they could. So overall, like it was a major success. And then I had my vision board workshop, which was super fun too. We had like these kind of like vision board, like scrapbooks almost, where you can cut out the images to like paste on to a vision board. And one of my friends, Sierra, came and she's like, this is like arts and crafts. Like this is so fun. There wasn't as much attendance for the vision board one, but it was also like 11 a.m. After the first full day. And I think a lot of people were like, yeah, I was sleeping. And I'm like, totally fair. Like Lily Palmer played till 7 a.m. So I had to go back, get a quick nap, and then go do my workshop. Then I went back, took another nap, and then woke up for the Femme House pool party. And so, yeah, that's where it was like, it was a bender. But hosting activities is honestly so much fun. And I'm excited to keep doing it at, you know, some of the festivals I have planned this year. I definitely am trying to put myself out there for more opportunities like that. So we'll see what happens with my other, you know, potential workshops I could do this year, but it's been really fun to do for you guys. And it's been a really fun way to just like, I don't know, share more and really help you guys just have amazing experiences. Like I just really love the idea of helping you guys have, you know, the most magical weekends ever, or having something really come to fruition for you, or having something manifest for you, just from setting your intentions for the weekend. And even the vision board workshop, like I got to talk to people and, you know, hear what they're really like shooting for in their life. And it just makes it really special to be a part of that and to really help you guys in that way. And it's what I really feel like I'm shifting into more is like, yes, I love going to festivals, but I've always talked about this is like, how can I make my life feel just as amazing as a music festival? Because it helps so much that like when I'm leaving a music festival, I don't feel upset or anxious or depressed or anything like that anymore. Like I am genuinely so happy to go back to my life because I have created a life that feels so good, and it makes it feel that much better to go home to this and then get excited for the next festival. And I kind of use the next festival as my like goal marker of like, okay, here's where I want to be in my life for the next festival. So then it feels like a celebration. And then I come back from that festival and I'm like, okay, like I'm excited to keep working on my life because I love my life so much, you know? And if that's what I can really like show you guys and instill in you guys, like that's literally everything to me, because I think you can enjoy your life just as much as you enjoy festivals. And when you can really cultivate that magic in your life, it's just the most amazing feeling. That is my little spiel on that. But there was so many other activities on top of that. Like you could do yoga with LPGOB, yoga with disco lines. Like you could go zip lining with Jem and Tori. There was activities that you had to sign up beforehand and excursions beforehand. And there was some where you could just show up. And of course, if they didn't have as many people, like you could always show up and kind of sign on later on. So that's something that I definitely want to do next year, is maybe an artist hosted activity or dinner. They even had that where you could have dinner with your favorite artist. They had like bar crawls, stuff like that. So it just adds a whole other layer to the festival aside from the music. And also, aside from like doing laser tag or go-karting or the arcade or the casino, like there's still other things you could be doing on the ship. And so I think next year want to do more of that kind of stuff other than the music. Of course, the music's fun, the music's amazing, but I think that's kind of like a goal for 2025 is to do more of like those activities and stuff, which I think because I'm already signed on for 2025, that will make it a lot easier for me to plan ahead versus planning 4 months before, 3 months before the Groove Cruise happens. So yeah, definitely make some time for those activities. So overall experience, kind of rounding out my Groove Cruise experience, like it was one of my best festival weekends ever. Like it definitely topped my Holy Ship weekend, and that was one of my best festival weekends ever. Definitely even topped my Electric Forest weekends and favorite EDC weekends. Like it's definitely up there in the number 1 or number 2 spot for like favorite weekends of my life ever. And I think because it was such a full circle moment for me to be invited as a content creator and a workshop host and be able to do those things aboard the ship, like it's just so full circle for me after launching Vibe with Aid in 2017 to now be doing work like this is just, I pulled like a higher self card right before I left, and it said like, give yourself credit, you've come pretty far. And so just even that alone speaks volumes to what this experience meant for me. But then on top of that, I had shared this with other people that there is nothing else like Groove Cruise compared to some of these other festival cruise ships, simply because it's not someone that is in a major festival brand, and it's not like a Live Nation, it's not like an AEG. Like this was fully built and grown by one person who had a vision and a mission and created the team to do that. And I guess you could probably say the same for Destructo, but Destructo is an artist and, someone in the industry. Jason, I feel like he's really built this, and it's so special to be a part of it that you're just not going to get from some of the other festival cruise ships. I'm going to be honest. And you could feel that with all of the people who have been going year after year after year, just how much they love this festival. And I mean, Jason was crying when Tiesto finished his set because you could just feel how big of a moment that was for him, that was an artist they had been chasing so long, and they put, blood, sweat, and tears to build Groove Cruise into what it is today. And I just think that speaks volumes to the brand that it is and the festival that it is. And that's why I want to keep going back because I had just the best time, and I went over all of these things that the cruise ship was amazing. The music was amazing. The food was amazing. All of these things were amazing. The people, I literally haven't gone to a show since Groove Cruise because that filled up my cup so much. You know what I mean? I am going to a couple shows this weekend in Houston, but I haven't been to anything since then because I just have felt so content with that experience that I'm not chasing after the next thing. You know what I mean? I did book my next festival, which is going to be Project Glow in April. But needless to say, I even feel like I don't need to go to a festival right away because that just filled up my cup so much, and it set me on such a amazing high for 2024. I just felt so motivated coming back. I felt so rejuvenated. I didn't get sick. It was just really nice. So I could keep going on, but overall experience amazing. Like I said, I'm booked in for 2025. I'm going to be having more activities, not more activities, but I am going to be having the same intention setting workshop and then maybe another activity for next year. Definitely will be doing content for next year. So if you are interested in booking, it's 91% sold out. I will put the link down below for you to check out in the show notes and in the description. And also you can use Rave Culture Cast to get, a little discount and whatnot. My girl Emma, we're going to support her. And I'll round out just for some tips for next time, some lessons learned, right? And I can also ballpark finances. So if you're trying to think about going next year, maybe look at, the room being $1,500 a person, $1,400 a person. And then you factor in, you know, if you want to do beverage package, things like that. Then you factor in like your flight there. If you want to do, they do have a pre-party the night before. So if you want to get there early, go to the pre-party. Like if you want to factor in all of that stuff, you could be spending $3,000 to $5,000 depending on how you do it. I would say, holy shit, I paid like $1,000 for my inside stateroom, and then flight was maybe $300 round trip. And then I also did a hotel the night before. So like you can, you know, find your ways of making it happen. But even too, if you lock it in now, there's also payment plans to help with the room. And then you can always like book your flight later, book your hotel later, stuff like that. And then outfits, you know, you could either go with a theme or not. So maybe $3,000, $5,000 is an ideal ballpark depending on what type of room you get, if you're going to do a beverage package, not a beverage package. But if you have any questions, just leave me a comment on the YouTube video or send me a DM, or I'm going to have other content to come regarding Groove Cruise and like tips to prepare and stuff like that. So one of my first like lessons learned is before you go on the sailing, you can pre-order your beverage package, water package, like you can preset reservations, stuff like that. You have to do that 48 hours before. And so I learned my lesson that way, and we had to like order water later. We had to like use the app to do stuff. I did also have to buy Wi-Fi for doing the content creation and stuff like that. So there's definitely that. I need to get better at being a napper. It was hard for me to take naps. So that's definitely something I want to get better at. Like I said, another thing, like tips for next time, I definitely would like to explore a lot more between sets, parts of the ship, activities, stuff like that. My packing video also was really great. If you guys want to go check out that packing video, because I didn't feel like I overpacked or underpacked. I feel like I packed the perfect amount of stuff. So I was really happy about that. I definitely want to be more present next time. I feel like I was just worried about where we were going next and documenting. So hopefully I can be more in a relaxed state. I didn't even get in the pool or the hot tub at any point. So I would love to do that next time. I did get in the ocean water, which was really nice when we did the island thing. I wish I got off the boat sooner on the island day just to like maximize more of the time there. Because once Disco Lines was on, it was just like go, go, go. And then by then, Tiesto played, and then we had to get back on the boat. So like that was really only 4 or 5 hours on the island. So it really wasn't that much time. So I think next time I want to maximize my time on the island, which will be a lot easier because we don't have to wait for like a boat ride to take us to the island. We can literally just walk off, which will be really nice. So those are kind of like some lessons learned. And the final thing that I will leave you on my festival review is like, would I attend again? And honestly, 100% yes. And I will be attending again. Like I said, just had the best time, and I am such a Groove Cruiser now. I'm a part of the fam now, which is so exciting. And I'm really just glad to highlight this festival. It's been such an honor to cover this festival and to join this family. So if you guys have any questions, definitely keep me posted and let me know. But I hope maybe this review just gave you some more insight as to the things that make Groove Cruise what it is. It was a lot of shenanigans. It was a lot of fun. There was so much not documented. And maybe there's like funny stories to tell, but I don't really have any that come to mind right now. There's like so many I could go into, but also they're not really my stories to tell. Like I feel like I was just observing a lot of things and witnessing a lot of stuff that happened. But it was an amazing time. Like I said, it is almost sold out for 2025. So if you want to get on it, you can lock in a payment plan. You can use code RaveCultureCast when you check out. And support my girl Emma. Next year, Emma and I are going to be in a room. We're going to be roomies, which I'm so excited about. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Welcome back to Let's Vibe Podcast, you guys. Here's to 2024. I'm going to do a recap episode next just to kind of dive into all of the things that have happened to me since we last were here. But thank you so much for spending time with me. If you did enjoy today's episode, feel free to give me a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching over here. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, a very vibey week. Thank you so much for tuning in and vibing with me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.